full-service commercial real estate as far as brokerage and leasing and property management. That entails a lot of retail, shopping centers, office buildings, POAs, and some industrial. But this has been a great opportunity. I've worked with Andy DeSalvo for a while and have known him for many years, so it'll be a great transition for me to continue management, making sure that the tenants pay their rent and that the building is well maintained and the leases are administered and everybody stays happy. So it's kind of my job.
One of the things that Lisa will be giving to the board monthly is a checklist of the condition of the property, where we are with leases, maintenance, any issues. And AJS will also do the accounting, as far as the leases, the rents being sent there, doing a sheet for us and filing all that, because that's, and there is a cost to that, but that is currently built into what Duffy's and the Pro Shop are currently paying. Since and Lisa and I spoke, and I sent the information to Chuck and Tony. When she was working for TAQ's company, or Andy DeSalvo before, they managed many, so that they got a discount. They have increased the cost minimal, which is, okay, and I get it. So, but it really, it's not going to be that great of a difference. And I think the fact that Lisa knows the building, the property, has a working relationship with Jeff and I, and with the management and the corporate office of Duffy's is to our advantage to keep AJS at this point in time.
Who negotiates the lease?
We would negotiate.
When it comes down to it.
We will, or, okay. Tony will, or we will on your behalf, or Tony?
Yeah, no, it could be, both.
Joint?
You could delegate to the, chair of the manager and attorney along with the management.
Is the current lease 7 years?
Duffy's has 7 more years on their lease, and then they have...
So after 7 is when?
Then they have 2 5-year renewables. So,
Are those already negotiated?
Well, anything's negotiable. We can always talk with you. If you have an organization that's a tenant, any tenant who's comfortable where they are and they feel like their business is succeeding.
I'm just asking, is it a fixed cost for the next 17 years?
Okay, well, the cost issue, that's something we can't really talk about until after the closing, because that's part of the trade secrets.
I'm not asking what it is.
Well, yes,
Is
can it be
that
negotiated?
already in there?
I know the next 7 years is locked. What it is after that, and I have to be honest with you, Phil, I don't really know. Percentage-wise, if it's...
I mean, if we ever had to, can we go down to keep them if they wanted to leave? That's just some of the questions.
Oh, I'm sure a tenant's always happy to pay less.
Yeah, I understand that, but...
and I will be honest with you.
what about?
Phil,
What about?
With our leases, yes, they have been renegotiated even in the interim. And I'll be honest with you that after COVID, there were some modifications made to some of the current leases. So yes, that can be done.
Because God knows we'll probably have COVID again.
Well, we already do.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think. Who knows? But yes, we can work with that. But it would be Lisa and Tony and the board, however we do that. And again, that's one of the reasons where we're keeping AJS.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I asked that question a while ago.
Okay.
Future
reference.
One other thing too, with the management company contract, what we're thinking of is at the next board meeting, July 28th, next board meeting.
26.
26th is coming back with a number of documents, proposed documents, and that would be proposed management contract. That will try to negotiate, wrap up between now and then, and have that on the agenda.
Right.
Not today.
So the first disclosure we would have would be the August meeting on all the financials.
Yeah, because we were looking at Pre-close on the 3rd.
On the
Close on the
3rd.
3rd.
Close on the 3rd.
Yeah, so-
Pre-close in 2 weeks.
And we'll get confirmation about that at that time, that that's all
Yeah.
re-released and everything else. That's-
August 23rd. We can get that information long before that, but we'll make it public on August.
Well, arguably not before closing. And
Well,
that's-
I'm saying when we close. After we close, we'll have access to that.
And that's what we'll make sure, as part of what we're going to
That's
checklist,
part
is
of what we're
that
going to make sure.
recognize and tell everybody, as of closing, this information will be
Right.
public, because it's no longer disadvantageous for that particular transaction.
Yeah.
We're just going to, that's part of the checklist.
Okay.
Go through.
With the pre-closing that we're doing on the 13th. Okay. All right.
Okay, so other questions?
I mean, one thing, she has a report she puts out, and lists out the conditions. And one of the things she on there's condition was the parking lot, and they were all fair to poor. And just so happens with a 6-inch,
Yeah,
that parking lot the next day was a
mess. It was a mess.
And like, I know we have some money set aside, and we Chuck and I talked with me in a little bit, that with the bond for repair, I think that needs to be a project that's pushed right up to the front and done as quickly as possible.
And the other, yes, I agree. And the other thing that we did say during that all the handicap spots are on the far side of the dumpster. And I think even in one of the reports that they had suggested that we move some of the handicap spots.
We talked a little bit about that, too.
Yeah, because we have one for the golf course, and then there's 6 or 7 down on the other side of where the dumpsters are. So if you're,
Makes no sense.
no, it doesn't.
Well, who is responsible for maintaining the parking lot? We are?
Yeah.
But we don't own the parking lot.
We have a parking
contract
easement.
with THQ.
Yeah.
We have a parking easement, I think, for how many spaces?
So we
There was
maintain
a-
it on behalf of Duffy's?
They pay us.
So in
Yeah,
their
as
lease,
the previous owner, yeah, you were
That's a strange one.
contracted to do the landscaping and the parking lot.
TAQ's proxy Duffy's, because Duffy's the tenant, but no, the contractor's through TAQ.
And then we
But they pay
pass it
for it.
through to Duffy.
Duffy's and
Right.
us. Jeff gets a bill.
Yep.
Now, there is a,
what?
Yeah.
To maintain the parking lot?
but we, but in the
Landscape.
lease, didn't we say that Duffy's? Okay, in doing the parking lot, that would be the expense of both the pro shop and Duffy's.
Prorated as a CAM expense, it's in there
Correct.
specifically as
Correct.
resurfacing the parking
Yep.
lot and
Pass through to both.
Right.
Everything is,
With resurfacing the parking lot.
No, resurfacing's
But-
coming out of the bond proceeds.
Right.
If it's coming out of the CAM, and our maintenance crew is doing the work, we're paying double.
No.
Who's paying our maintenance people to maintain that parking lot? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's my question. You said you're maintaining it, you work for the CDD.
Right, but
But the common grounds crew
But for the landlord.
maintains the,
and we get paid for it.
well, we get paid for.
That's what I want.
yes.
Yes, we get paid
Yes.
for it.
goes from one pocket to the other.
Contract.
It's always a little pocket.
Answer
Contracted
my
out.
question. That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
So then every month you do get your financial reports with the inspection report.
Right.
And,
Great.
so, and I'm on site a lot, and come up here and check things out, so.
Yeah, and I'm just, no, this doesn't pertain to you, but those medians, they need to go flat, as you probably already know.
Yes, the same gentleman I talked to about the flowers, I asked him about the trees. I know that Lee County has a shade tree issue about taking shade trees out and stuff, which, as long as you put some back, there's other options about maybe taking some stuff out and planting something back there that won't get as big. If not, you're gonna have to lower the lights, because that's part of the problem.
Well, those roots in those big oaks are going to start causing problems.
I get it,
Yeah.
but per the ordinances of removing trees, and
Yeah.
of course, I don't know.
And the village is worse than the county.
Yeah, and there's shade tree requirements, right? So, we'll just have to cross that bridge when we
Yeah.
get to it.
Okay.
We really
But
will.
the intention was, and even John and I were looking at, if we could get rid of those trees, and rather than putting grass there, put that Asiatic jasmine that is a ground cover that could do, and then between every few spots, put pavers so people have places to walk.
Yeah.
So that's what the game plan would be for
Good.
up there.
And I think that's probably part of why you can't, the parking lot puddles so much, is because that mulch clogs the drain, and then
Yeah.
unless water is, it was a mess.
And And we want to get rid of that mulch, so by putting the
Yeah,
Asiatic jasmine in
almost
there.
up to the drive-through, the canopy, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is like the landscaping for the building per se, well, that will match up with what Juniper's doing in the community because it'll all match?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, and we're not putting any palm trees around the building.
Thank you.
We don't want any rats coming in or any, I'm just afraid of those things.
Trimming is July 11th through the 13th?
Yes, it'll probably take place the 11th and 12th, but that's when we're closed, is the 11th through the 13th, so.
Okay.
I gave them that, that kind of window.
That'll be the preliminary trim, and then we'll come in again.
Oh, yeah, right,
Right,
exactly.
that's those 4.
Exactly.
Yeah, the 2 by the pro shop.
Okay.
And then a jewel.
My personal opinion is they all need to go.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, well, they're rodent heavy.
yeah,
I mean, honestly.
well, we're going to get rid of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
The property insurance, is that handled by the board or is that handled by the property management company?
We have the insurance guy coming up next, and he can give us all the information.
Next.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Okay.
I guess that's my cue.
You're on, Joe. This is Joe Mongillo. He's our insurance agent who has,
This is, quick off topic, we did our ballot vote today for our new board, which our turnover comes June 30th, only a few days away, so this is really exciting stuff that I get to hear about now, going from the builder to the HOA.
At your neighborhood that you live in?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
Yes, at the place.
the
So-
place.
Oh, boy.
Did Steve,
You can come visit us once a month if you want. You can come hang out.
did Steve run for the board?
He withdrew his name. We were very upset about that. There was a lot of people upset. You should call him.
I will.
But yes, my name is Joe Mongillo. I am the insurance agent for the property here. I've had the privilege to work with the board here for the last, it's been 3 years already. The third renewal is coming up in July. As per usual, the insurance industry has been very volatile the last year and a half, 2 years. I don't know if you've seen it on the news recently. Within the last 6 months, 3 insurance carriers have gone bankrupt in the state of Florida, with 2 more on till, and a couple of carriers closing counties down for new business. So it's been a very difficult time for property insurance here. But I don't want to bore you with any of that, but as far as the property insurance here with the clubhouse, we are out to market. No news yet, but the big thing, as you just brought up with the lease agreement, that is part of the coverage that needs to be included on the property portion of the policy as far as business income or loss of rental income. So in the event of another COVID 2022 or 2023, that is a very important coverage to have in the property policy. As far as the current policy that's on it, it was written not what I'm used to seeing. I do know that everything was renovated, which is very good. The roof, the HVAC, pretty much all the interior structure of the building seemed to be completely done. I think it was new electrical as well, and I think some plumbing repairs as well. So in that aspect of the property insurance, that helps with marketing, makes the carriers a little more excited to see all those renovations taking place, so that they're not insuring, the 2000 building. It's more of like a 2022 building now, which is good. I do agree with Eileen. Please don't put any trees around any property, including any screen enclosures around your house. But yeah, I'm welcome to any questions that you may have in regards to the insurance. Again, I'm trying to find the most competitive premiums. Right now, the hurricane deductibles are creeping up to 3%, 4%, 5%. I'd like to keep those down as much as possible, but my hands are tied when it comes to carrier underwriting. So,
Joe, I do have one question. You said that the carriers would need to see the lease?
they don't need to see it. I just need to get a ballpark estimate of what your monthly rent will be from Duffy's, just so I can list out.
We'll talk with Indy.
Okay, okay.
On the 13th, we'll have that conversation.
Okay, the reason being is that the current owners, because of trade secrets, Tony, Chuck, myself, and the appraiser are the only ones that could see all that information.
Yep.
So we will have a meeting with, a pre-closing meeting on the 13th. So with that being said, I'm sure at that point, 2.5 weeks out from
Yeah,
settlement.
that's plenty of time.
That-
Yeah,
okay.
it's out to market now. I use just kind of a ballpark estimate of what I thought, but
Okay.
obviously if that changes, that's fine, but it's out there, it's being marketed, so.
Okay.
Just, yeah, if it needs a tweak, that's fine.
Okay. Very good. Okay. I will say that we changed our insurance to Joe 3 years ago, and after Irma, when the insurance didn't give us a whole lot, and really we've been paid a little more, but we have the security of knowing that should something happen, and he's done a good job. He does personal stuff too. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I probably should just say, check to make sure your flood policies are enforced, because as John said, I think we're actually the June average for 5 inches just for the month of June.
Yeah, the average, June average is 10.08 inches in Lee County.
Yeah,
So
I think we're like 15, right?
just so 15.25 in that gauge, my gauge. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Floodgates are full.
Yeah, so it's creeping, and as you see, I mean, the valleys here along the road, I have not seen them that high in quite a while, so just double check.
Thank you.
But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I can shoot, I mean, if there's like the newsletter goes out, if they want my contact info in there for any questions in that regards, I'd be happy to answer them, you know, the best of my ability, so.
Okay.
Joe, quick question.
Yes, sir.
You said that a couple, 2 or 3 carriers have gone bankrupt in the state of Florida. There haven't been any disasters in the state of Florida. What's causing this?
The roof renovations.
So they're just now catching up from the hurricane?
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a Florida legislation put in place, and I'm trying, again, now this is, I don't know the exact, but I can give you a ballpark. They allowed up to 3 years to file a property claim after a hurricane. So September 2020 came, Irma was September 2017. September 2020 came, and there are a lot of roofing companies going door to door say, we can get you a roof, just give us access to your insurance policy, we can get insurance to cover it. As a consumer, you're thinking, well, I've been paying insurance for how many years? Doesn't sound like a bad idea, and I get it. You got, you know, a $50,000, $60,000 roof put on for less your deductible, if that. Some roofers are creative, they're able to work that into the price of the roof, but unfortunately, with them going door to door in these 2,000 unit communities, that amount stacks up, and I think there was a number that was just released outside of Florida, so 49 states, there's about a little more than 1,000 roof claims being worked on right now. Just Florida has 100,000. So, yeah, it's a pretty volatile market right now. Carriers are trying to figure out what they can do. Unless legislation doesn't change, unfortunately, the insurance carriers are the ones that have to be creative. They're coming up with like roof acknowledgement percentage. So, you know, the first 0 to 5 years, the age of the roof, you'll get 100% replacement cost, and then every 5 years, it may drop down 10%. So, just keep an eye on your policies. Just make sure. Again, I'd be happy to review it for you. I'm not trying to do a plug or anything. It's just one of those things. Like it's just a very volatile market right now, and unfortunately, with these roof claims, attorney fees. No offense. It's been a tough couple years. So if your roof needs repair. I'm not saying don't repair a roof, but unfortunately, and I'm a consumer of insurance as well, and my personal policy has skyrocketed. We're all paying the damage of it. You know, we're getting 30% increases on every year, which is just ridiculous. Which the market average is like 3 to 5. So.
Hey, Joe, what was that legislation the governor signed there not too long ago?
Well, that was, I don't know much about that, but it was almost like he was trying to sign a motion to get this stuff worked on, and it just kind of lost steam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have a lot of other things going on, I guess, with the governors, which I understand. This kind of takes a back seat, unfortunately, but it has to get fixed.
In 17, I was doing the siding on my home in Jasper, roofing was going around St. Carl, and these signs were going up everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm outside one day taking a break, and I'm like, hey, come here. You go, wow. I'm like, what's the scam, dude? Like, what is your scam? Like, you're doing a lot of roofs right now. And I'm like, so something's going on. He's like, it's no scam. We just bill your insurance company.
Yeah.
Like, I just paid my deductible. He's like, yeah, and the house was built in 85. I'm like, hey, get over here and take a look. And he didn't even say hurricane. It was a wind. Well, bad. Like, and he said, this storm came through here on this date. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, there was hail damage. And I'm like, what? You know,
Exactly.
like, oh, yeah, man, more 10%.
Right, if it becomes like a named storm, they pretty much know how to tackle it. You know, they can't match tile, they can't match shingle, they can't match siding.
Yeah. Architecture shingle, first 2 sheets are free, then
Pretty much, yeah, and I'm not trying to badmouth roofing companies, I understand, it's a business, you're trying to run it to the best of your ability. As far as insurance, we're all paying the price in one way or the other. I just hope it starts to level off a little bit, so we'll see.
Joe, does the golf course have loss of revenue insurance?
Yes,
Yes.
it does. I don't know the exact out from the top of my head, I could check, but it does.
Yeah, that's why we changed
we need
it.
to update the equipment section, correct?
Pardon me?
The equipment section?
Yes.
What we have updated.
Well, I sent it to Crosby because I signed it because I needed to get it done.
Correct.
I just need you to just verify that that is all the equipment.
Yeah, just like last year, go like this.
Yeah, just like
just
that.
eliminate
Just
that.
higher value.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, check the values, check the models, see
Yeah.
what that stuff, but
So that's,
that's all. That's easy.
okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you for having me, I appreciate it.
Keep us posted.
I will.
Okay, thank you. Okay, budget. The proposed budget. Okay. With the check of the general fund revenues, that'll change once we get the, for the budget. What did we,
Your operation for your clubhouse is going to be an enterprise fund because your revenues are user fee based,
okay,
which is your leases.
right, okay,
And the reason it's not in here yet is
because we don't know.
trade secrets.
Right,
Trade secret
Trade
issues, so I
secrets.
can't publish that just yet.
Right.
But it won't affect assessment, so it's not a problem to come in at the 11th hour.
okay, very good. Okay,
No.
general fund, Chuck, you've done this with all your, that's the budget?
Yes. There is going to be a minor change in your professional admin. There's going to be a downward on your insurance, actually. I get the insurance proposals from FIA, who carries your insurance on the general fund side.
Okay.
And your irrigation enterprise fund side. So-
Okay,
So there's going to be a downward adjustment on that.
okay,
Over into the landscape maintenance and really look for some guidance from John. I made some adjustments based on salary changes, for instance, in personal services, but really not sure what you had in mind for your...
Phil and I are going to get together.
Okay. As soon as you guys kick those around, kick them over to me, I'll plug them in for you.
Do we need one quick one, plant replacement next year? I don't think we
I
need
don't
it.
think you're going to need it.
No,
You
there's
just got a
15
ton of
grand.
money.
Yeah.
Well, you're about to get a ton of money.
right.
Take it out of budget for a year.
Yeah, the only thing that we're going to need is the, the only thing is we'll need
Flower rotation.
the flower rotation.
A
That
small
would be-
amount of
That's a,
flower
that's a
rotation.
different,
Yeah.
that's a different line item.
Oh, do you have, yeah, you have separate annuals, so
We have
yeah.
annuals,
Let's pull it then.
okay. Okay. Very good. Thanks, Bill. Okay, fuel that you have here, you have it the same?
I have done nothing on the common ground budget.
Okay, now I was asking for the general fund. That's common grounds, right?
Yeah, you were running pretty good through the end of March. Obviously, we've had a spike, but now it's kind of trending back down.
Okay.
It's anybody's guess, so whoever's got the best crystal ball.
I left mine home. Sorry. So we'll leave it at the 8?
And of course, that has impacts on your chemicals. I've seen that across the board, so.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So give us your best guess on.
So,
On fuel, I'm budgeting on the golf course for 6. We've always been at 4 a gallon historically.
Oh, okay.
So for fuel on the golf course, I imagine doing the same thing, for the common grounds, just figure out the fuel usage and, go off of that at $6 per gallon.
okay, so when you get that, just give Chuck the number so he
Yeah,
can...
once you guys have gone through and.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be quick. That won't take me much.
Okay.
We're just gonna get together. You want me to keep going with the?
I think, was there any other changes in your general fund, Chuck?
No, just waiting for some input from those in the field.
Okay. All right, then we can go to the bonds. irrigation, Chuck, that's yours as well.
Yeah.
And you're feeling that the,
We're going to have an adjustment in there in terms of your effluent supply.
right.
Chuck, just for future reference, to Mr. Simonson's point, so like, what if we lost the Royal Palm Center meeting? What would I, if we had to replace that, what would I put for line item, would I put that new tree on? If there's not going to be like a plant replacement? You see what I mean? And a big tree like that's going to be,
Those are $5,000-$6,000, going 20-foot clear trunk, at least, so.
I just didn't know if there's, I mean, because I see what you're saying about the money coming in, but that's kind of separate, right?
Yeah.
Well, there'll be codes and stuff for that money.
Just keep in mind, you also have a pretty healthy surplus fund balance that we've kind of built up over the years.
So just ask for it? Just say, hey, we got to do this tree?
We've got to do it.
And then we'll just miscellaneous it or something?
You've got a real healthy one. I think it sends a good message to the community that since you're already hitting them for renovations, that we'd probably take it out for a year or two.
No, absolutely. I just didn't know if we had to do something, right?
Yeah.
Where would we put it?
You got it. So.
All right.
I like to go first. Okay. Currently, I have as the proposed budget sits, there's still work to be done, obviously. This is the first go-around. But as we sit, I have a 16% increase in the year-to-date budget from the proposed to last year, from 1.2 million to 1.272 to 1.5. 1.54, which is an increase of $267,873. I can go line by line real quick and just give you kind of a guide. There's some things I realized before the meeting that's not on here, like we need all new cooler casings, like out on the poles that there are coolers, like stands. We need new, every one of us needs to be replaced.
Okay.
Last time I checked 3 years ago, they were like $750. They're probably $1,200 now. So we need about $6,000. So that's, I just realized, oh, that's about $6,000.
Okay.
So, just bear with me a little bit. This is the first go around. So the alarm's not going to change cost-wise for that monthly or quarterly service. Annuals, we've increased to $5,000 annually. It's an annual increase of $1,062 because I anticipate having bigger beds, more flowers next year, and the cost went up. Fuel.
Yeah, cost has gone up with everything.
More expensive, the flowers are more expensive. Most of these increases are due to just inflation, the cost of doing business. It went up extremely. Association dues and seminars, I've increased that $556 for the year. That, and this includes would be myself, Todd's, whoever the second assistant is, our dues for continuing education, chapter meetings, stuff like that. Chemicals, I increased that by 10%, and that's being kind of nice, to be honest with you. That's being generous. That's a $95,000 increase. That may have to be revisited. I have only got to about 20% of the people I need to talk to, and that to kind of figure out, get a better idea. So that's the number I put on it at the moment.
But you think it's going to be higher?
It is possible.
Okay.
We're actually losing a very good product, a very strong product. I wouldn't say losing, but our ability to apply it is going to be heavily restricted. Basically, by the end of 2023, they're forecasting that that's about the time it's really going to happen, and it's Ronstar. It's a pre-immersion. It's the #1 pre-immersion we use on golf courses. Well, the EPA's came down on it. It's a different, as administrations change, those kind of things change. So, and they have to by law, they have to revisit them every so many years, and this is that time. And they're only going to let us apply it to 30% of our total acreage. So for us, that would be like 30 acres. We're a little over, I think we're 114 on the books, so we'll say 111, 114 with the county. So that would allow us to do T-tops and maybe fairways, or greens are 3.5 acres, fairways are about 17, T-tops are about 7. So we'd have to pick and choose, right, to maximize it. So that hurts. It's going to be interesting to see what the chemical companies do to combat it, what comes out. Maybe right now they have nothing.
They have nothing that's comparable.
Yeah. So that's where we're on that. Contract labor, I increased that to $20,000 per year. That's an increase of $43,580 for this year, because I want Jim Hill, the gentleman who did our drainage flush out, I want him out every 2 years.
Okay.
You know, just to be on constant maintenance, I think.
Now, with all the rain we've had, it's worked well?
It's worked great. But we can't really pump the sub air because we're just pumping water. That's how high the water is.
Okay.
It's just literally sucking water.
Okay.
So, but we're fine there. Car path fill, I increased that to $3,000 per year, just fuel increase for surcharges we're getting on deliveries. The electricity on the maintenance building, I increased it $300 annually, $25 a month. I see FP&O. You know, I heard some things a couple months back that they were asking for increases, so I just did that to be proactive. Nothing on the equipment rental, that's staying the same so far. I haven't really thought of anything off the top of my head. Equipment leases, there's nothing happening this year, but I've already priced out what we're going to need for next year, and it's a 35% increase, same lease from 4 years ago.
Wow.
So that next year there's going to be like, oh hey, by the way, remember I told you this last year.
Okay. I'll jot that down.
So that's there. Equipment repair, I've increased $900 a month, which is a $4,800 annual increase, because we need about $6,000 in new tires for several pieces of equipment, loader, tractor, spreader, material handler. They're all really big tires. We put it off as long as we can. We have to have it. So that's why that's went up. Fertilizer, I've increased that about 30% to $131,000 because it's very volatile. This is just as volatile as fuel. The pre-emergence we're putting out now are averaging 25 to 26,000. It's the same amount of fertilizer that I had budgeted for 18,000 this year. So the amount hasn't changed or anything. It's just the cost. We spoke earlier about this, fuels and lubricants. I have that fuel priced out at $6 a gallon. Historically, we were at $4. Obviously, 4 is an obsolete number right now as we speak. So it's 6 just to be safe. We can change that. You know, if you guys want to go to 5 or want to go to 7.
I think for the time being, let's go with 6.
Yeah, I think it's a good number.
Who
just see
knows?
how maybe this year goes. Fuel sales. Now, I mentioned that needs to increase. I don't know exactly, Chuck, how that happens because fuel went up, right? So they got to pay more for fuel. I don't know. I forget the ins and outs of the fuel. That's the fuel that the HOA buys from us, like Alex, when he comes to fill up his car or something.
Well, let's figure out how much he's had.
It's very minimal. It's going to be talking a few $100, but
Yeah, so should we just up it to 1,000?
what is it? I don't even know what.
It's 864?
Yeah, I don't see that.
I mean, is that reasonable? 1,100?
Yeah, Alex doesn't do a lot of gas.
Okay.
And that's, what is that? So $6 a gallon, we're looking at 20-something gallons, about 20 gallons.
And that's all he uses all year?
That's about, so you use more than that.
All right, figure.
I'll ask him. Let me ask him.
Ask him and figure that out, but you'll have to up that because if we were doing that at $4 a gallon, then it's higher.
Okay, golf service. So this year we need tee markers, new rakes, boundary stakes. Of course, we do flags every year, which have all went up significantly. I increased that to 21,000. I increased it by 8,000.
Okay.
Tee markers are going to be about 5. Brakes are going to be probably 1,500. And it's going to be about close to the same for boundary stakes.
Okay. And John, the only thing I'll ask you when you're doing these expenses, and I know you're trying to save money, but let's just really be realistic so that we don't get,
No, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely, absolutely. The interest on the bunker renovation should be coming off, am I not mistaken? Is it about 22 or last year for that? Should be like $12,000 roughly?
We are,
I think the bond, I think it's paid off.
where's that? The golf course note, that's 24. Yeah, we have a payment,
You've got, one more payment. But you have debt service reserve funds that will be applied against it, so it will be a reduced amount for the upcoming year.
Okay.
And then you'll lose it altogether.
Okay.
Okay. So we won't know that. They'll just have.
Now, they'll make that adjustment in here for you.
Okay. Because it looks, we have a payment August 1st, and then February, August.
Irrigation water, after reviewing, from year to year, taking about $1,000 a month per month off. That's saving us a little bit of money there, $12,000.
Okay.
Irrigation repair has stayed, it's going to stay the same so far. We're sitting pretty good there, the amount of money we have there per month.
Okay.
The other reports are going up too, but we're not really using any more. Actually, a little less. I'm kind of fortunate this